Activated.
Analyzing.
Update complete.
What's up, Lore Masters? Hey, a quick shout out to a friend of the channel, Space Doc, and their new project called The Sojourn. The Sojourn is well, let's have them tell you.
Hello, I'm Daniel Orrit, creator of the popular web series Space Doc. I'm here to talk to you about an exciting project called The Sojourn. The Sojourn is an in-development motion comic series designed to be made available on YouTube. The series takes production inspiration from works such as Battlefleet Gothic Armada and Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, using digital artwork and 3D graphics to produce motion stills to help add a visual element to a standard audio drama format. We hope to produce a series of 20-minute episodes designed to serve as digestible science fiction storytelling, well suited to the casual viewing platform of YouTube.
For more information on them, click the link below and get the full breakdown. I'm always a fan of good science fiction, and based on what I've seen, this is worth your time. This is good science fiction. But with that out of the way, let's just get into it. Today we'll be analyzing the Borg and their fascination with the Omega molecule. Before I begin the breakdown, I think it's appropriate to give a bit of a caveat to everything I'm about to say. What we do know about the Borg zealotry regarding the Omega molecule comes from 7 of 9, and also what we know overall regarding the Borg's search for perfection. It is possible that 7 of 9 is not completely representative of the whole of the Borg, and you might not agree with my interpretations of how I see the Borg work and their methodologies. Additionally, I'm going to be somewhat critical of religion, but no, this doesn't mean all religion. Hell, maybe not even most religion. But I do think we all can agree that everything has negative aspects to it, and I do think that the Borg, if they are religious, are representative of that. In the episode The Omega Molecule from Voyager, 7 of 9 describes the Borg's unwavering need to understand and harness the power of the Omega Molecule itself. To quote 7 of 9, Omega is infinitely complex, yet harmonious. To the Borg, it represents perfection. When I mention to people about the Borg having a religion, because that's something common for me, which seems odd to some for it to be in regular conversation, but it just confuses me why people wouldn't bring it up. Most of them either ask me who I am or scoff at the concept of the Borg being religious. For some reason, it is assumed that a technological species bent on obtaining absolute perfection would be secular. I don't know what that says about secularism and atheism, but I do feel that it is folly to assume that one truly wanting to become perfect and being half machine would preclude a belief system. Indeed, I'd even argue that a continued reach for perfection almost requires you to become religious. Consider, in the Next Generation episodes, Descent Part 1 and Part 2, we know that Borg that are assimilated, or at the very least, Borg that have been disconnected from the collective and then re-assimilated into it, will bring back what life experiences they have had. This new information is then incorporated into the collective. In Descent, we see the damage done after the crew of the Enterprise introduced individualism and enjoyment to Hugh in a previous episode. It caused disorder, caused chaos. Because, unlike Locutus, Hugh would know individualism and understand the true meaning of friendship, which is why we saw no backlash when Locutus and all of the other humans were assimilated at Wolf 359. We saw no impacts because there was no individualism from these officers, from these people. Wait a second, what? It would make sense that as the Borg continued to assimilate species, they would slowly begin to take on different aspects of religions that the species they assimilated had. Devotion, purpose, reason, understanding, a search for perfection. Sure, they would remove the religion itself, and at least to themselves believe that it was completely gone, but these aspects would stay. Like any belief system, it would slowly start to creep into their culture. Every small step towards this goal, towards perfection, would move them closer to dogma, would move them closer to belief. So after generations upon generations of civilizations that were brought into the fold and then the discovery of the Omega molecule, you could see how the Borg's version of religion would begin to form. The need to understand and harness the Omega molecule would mean the Borg would sacrifice tens of thousands of Borg, and consider this reasonable. Hell, they were willing to assimilate multiple species that believed the molecule was a god. Inferior species moving away from perfection to get to it. Then, after assimilating these species, they began investigating and hypothesizing, which we know they can do because it was a huge plot point with species 8472, that they could do research, that they could learn from their mistakes. Oh wait, for fuck's sake. In fact, let's look at other aspects, such as the Borg Queen, whom rules over all and can arguably have her own thought process distinct from the Borg. Her very creation as a need for the Borg to have a hierarchy, an all-knowing individual to lead them. That's very consistent with what we see in religion today as well. Indeed, it's not only the Omega molecule and the Queen that we see this type of religious fervor. Consider species 8472, what they believe to be the perfect organism. As soon as the Borg realized the existence of this species, 8472 was instantly attacked. Without thought, without consideration, a religious fanaticism, if you will. A holy war. The Borg were so focused on obtaining this perfection of assimilating this species, they didn't consider the consequences. Now, to be fair, I suppose the Borg would generally attempt to strong-arm any species that they came into contact with, but I really do feel like there's more to it than that. The way the Borg allied with Voyager, wanting to gain the information that the crew had. They allied with an enemy in this crusade against species 8472, and I think that's pretty telling. Now, you can argue that the collective was near destruction, which is a strong motivator to side with an enemy, but adding everything together, it now feels like you really have a strong case for a belief system. Ultimately, when you take a look at the whole sum of the Borg, an adoration for the Omega molecule, the need to assimilate species 8472 at all costs, the creation of a caste system with a matriarch on top, a strict dogma that binds them together, the need to search and perfect through whatever means necessary to find perfection. Sounds a lot like religion to me. Again, this isn't to say that religion overall is bad, but I think we can agree that some religions are definitely like this. But that's my opinion. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. This is the YouTube cut. If you'd like to see videos that aren't heavily edited to not get caught by YouTube Content ID, consider becoming a patron. You can check me out at patreon.com/lorereloaded. Additionally, if you'd like to hang out with me while I play games and just chill, check out my Twitch, and remember it's vitally important to stay up to date with my Twitter. Links are in the description below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and guys, I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded.